paddleboards with my friends.
Hey, welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. To end out our first hour, we are going to be discussing yoga stand-up paddleboarding, and specifically we have Sarah Larsen here with Glide stand-up paddleboarding. How are you this morning?
I'm good.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm so excited to talk about this because if you guys have seen the show previously, you know I'm not too awesome at yoga, so that's why you're here to share with us why it's such a great idea to integrate stand-up paddleboarding and yoga. So to begin with, Glide, you guys, what are you all about?
Yeah, so Glide is an awesome company. They're based right in Salt Lake City. They're very local. All of everything is sourced locally. They make stand-up paddleboards, and this summer they actually launched their stand-up paddleboard yoga program. So they make a yoga-specific board. They partnered with Stoked Yogi, who I did my paddleboard training with, the yoga. She is based out of San Diego. Her name's Amelia Travis. Stoked Yogi is her business, and they made this yoga-specific board, and it's pretty amazing being on the water doing yoga. So yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, well, we're going to demonstrate some of the different aspects of yoga on paddleboarding. So to begin with, I'm sure lots of you guys out there have done yoga in a studio, but the benefits of doing it on a lake, on a board, what is that?
Okay, so even just coming out is pretty meditative. Just paddling, you can get into a rhythm with your breathing. You're out with nature, so you know, obviously brings in
very conducive.
Totally,
to that type of
totally.
thing.
But what the difference is kind of between coming out to the water to do your practice as opposed to land is the huge core awareness. So you're really working your core, and whether you're trying to or not, it's going to happen because you're working your balance, everything to stabilize you. You're working very teeny tiny little muscles that rarely get worked because your whole body is just working to stabilize you. But also on the water, it's a really restorative practice. So you get a lot, but just being on the water, my absolute favorite part, the thing that has drawn me in, I'm pretty euphoric when I get around any body of water. I love it. I love being outside, who doesn't? But the very, very, very best part is Shavasana at the end. If you've ever had any kind of online practice, you know Shavasana or corpse pose is where you come into it and you're at the end of your practice absorbing your benefits. On the water, it's epic. It's amazing. You have the sun coming down on your face. It's like a blanket on top of you.
Oh gosh.
I like to let my hands, you know, drift in the water, and you're just complete. Like, I've never been more relaxed ever. It's a totally. It's like heaven on earth. It's amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you guys have some cool photos that we'll show here in a moment, but let's have you demonstrate.
Yeah, definitely.
She's going to do some beginner poses, but also some much more advanced ones that maybe you guys can do too. Okay,
definitely.
So what's first?
Okay, so obviously it's a lot more stable here.
Yeah.
Even some of the most advanced poses, or I mean easiest poses, you know, like a warrior two on your land practice, can be pretty difficult on the board, just because you're only in 2-point stance and it's one right behind each other. So that can be pretty difficult. So that's a little bit modified sometimes in a beginner class. So sometimes you just start with the sun A. So you inhale up into mountain pose. Exhale, you can forward fold, and each movement is done really slow and mindfully, just to make sure that you're keeping your balance, and step back into a high plank and move through chaturanga. Inhaling as you up dog, and exhale as you down dog. So you move through a sun B and then a modified sun A, sun B. So most warrior poses, you're not going to be doing full standing. In a class, you'll mostly be doing on your knee. As a beginner class, as a beginner, yeah, just because it is pretty unstable, so you kind of might modify a warrior two, stuff like that.
Well, that really speaks to the importance of course, of maintaining that balance. When you think, oh, I can do warrior all day long, but when you do it on this kind of situation, yeah, it's much different.
Something that might be more advanced that you probably, that they'll usually say maybe after when you've done a class, then you can maybe try after, but coming into headstand is actually way more stable for me on my board, I found out when I started.
Really?
Yeah, but coming in, and this is obviously way more difficult on the water. So this is more of an advanced move for sure, but But yeah,
She's like, yeah, I can do a full interview standing on my head like this, and I'm good. That is impressive. I can't even imagine doing that on the water. Well, we're going to bring out your cute little daughter right here to share with us.
Well, that's
what
the great
it's like.
thing about ages. Families, we bring our dogs out. We have 2 labs that we bring out on the boards. And yeah, it's a great thing for all ages, for all fitness levels. So it's great. She's dressed for school.
Cicely.
This is Cicely.
Cicely, how old are you?
I'm 5.
You are 5, and you really like yoga. Do you have a favorite pose?
It's
Do you like mountain pose or child's pose, or?
Do you like being out on the water with your family?
yeah.
Yeah?
And
Did
my
you-
favorite pose is a headstand.
Is a
You can do a
headstand.
headstand? She can?
She's getting
Oh my
pretty good at
gosh,
it, yeah.
that's
We like to
impressive.
do acro yoga, or partner yoga, and we've been trying to do that on the board. It's been pretty
Well,
fun.
this is just some really great proof that obviously this is something that kids and, you know, with their parents or with their siblings can do as a family
Totally.
affair, really, and to enjoy the great outdoors together. Let's remind people that this is something where you do all around. What are some of the lakes you guys work at?
Yeah, they have areas all over the Wasatch Front that they're at, stretching as far as like Bountiful all the way down to the Provo area. We've been up in the Uintas, just kind of all over. I mean, they have groups that have gone all over, I think, Utah Lake, Bountiful Pond. They have ponds and lakes that they've gone to all over.
Very cool. And then
Yeah.
you can rent a board through you guys, or you can
Yes.
bring one.
Yes.
Cost is different. So it's $20.
20
for the
bucks
class.
if you bring your own board, $35 for the class, which is about 90 minutes, and that's including paddle instruction, then the practice, then usually a little bit of time to play afterwards.
And then one last note before we go: these boards are specially made, of course, to allow for yoga to work. Or this one.
This one is, yes.
But
This one is more, yeah, this one's a retro, is what they call. This one's a Lotus board. The Lotus board is more specific. It has the keel on the front to make sure that it's a little more stable. The retro board is more for cruising around and playing.
Very
So,
cool.
yeah.
Well, Sarah, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
definitely.
We'll toss up your website so people know how to get in touch with
Awesome.
Glide Stand-Up Paddleboarding. And next time we'll have to have Cicely do some yoga too. How about
Yeah,
that?
huh.
Will you show us your headstand next time? Yeah. Okay.
Sound good?
All right. Well, thank you so much, Sarah
Yeah.
Larsen with Glide. We're going to go to a commercial break. When we get back, we have much more coming up. Don't go away.
Awesome. Okay.